Hey everyone, we're doing a bit of a different one today. This is a bit of a topic that has often crossed my mind that I saw Bo Refec do a video on, and he's named it, they turned adulthood into a subscription plan. I like Bo, he does some great videos. He's got a couple of channels on YouTube, you should go and check him out. Legion of Men is his main channel, and then he's got another channel, Bo Refec, where he does these really insightful monologues where he talks about various subjects in detail. And yeah, we're going to check out one of his videos today, so thank you for tuning in. I'm going to give a bit of commentary on what I think about the topic that we're talking about. Alright, here we go.
So imagine this. A guy's debit card expires, and that's the entire event. Nothing dramatic. The bank emails a new one every few years. Happens to everybody, right? And over the next 2 weeks, the man watches his life shut essentially down in pieces. Think about it like this. Day 1, the music stops mid-song. Day 3, the cloud account starts sending threats about your photos. 15 years of family pictures sitting behind a paywall now. Pay up or your memories get deleted. The TV app will log you out one by one. The printer, and I swear to God, the printer refuses to use the ink that is physically inside the printer. And by the end of the week, you'll be standing in a house full of stuff that doesn't work. And not one thing in that house is broken. That's what's crazy. Every machine in there works perfectly. It all just stopped being his the second the money paused. The man thought he owned a life, that he instead was renting one. And the card, it turns out, was the landlord. And this is happening to all of us. Every receipt in that man's email says the same word, buy. You hit a button that said buy on the movies, buy on the albums. The money left, but nothing was actually purchased in reality.
And that's definitely something that I've noticed that companies do these days so often, which is they put the word buy on it, but really they don't really mean buy, they mean rent. And I mean, people, their entire lives these days are basically just rental. You know, I'm one of these guys that's always rejected a lot of modernity. You know, in particular, this sort of stuff where, you know, companies want you to purchase things, and they want you to pay subscription plans just for basic goods and services. Growing up in the 90s, there was a real sense of ownership over everything that you had, like your computer, your video games, your DVDs, your books, your cell phones, everything. Everyone owned what they had, even your cars, you know. Whereas now, everything people own is on some kind of subscription, or what do they call that? Afterpay, pay in 4, I think, is what they call it. Everything is just being paid off, and of course the problem with that is that once you get too many of those things going at the same time, all your wages just get siphoned before you have a chance to do anything with them. And you're not really saving money the traditional way. You're basically becoming a slave to the corporations who are selling you things. And I've always rejected this way of life, and that's why these days I have very few subscriptions. In fact, I'm not even sure if I've got any subscriptions. If I ever buy anything, I want it paid for right away. I don't want to pay it off over, you know, a period of months or years. I want it to be paid off. The car I drive is all paid off. It's not an expensive car. It's not a modern car. It's paid off, and it's well looked after, and it's well serviced, and it doesn't give me any issues. Whereas a lot of people I know, they purchase these brand new cars and then they upgrade to a new brand new car. And purchase isn't really a correct word. They basically rent these brand new cars, take out these massive car loans on something like 15% interest rate or something like that, and immediately after they purchase it, the car loses, I think it's like 15 or 20% of its value. after you've driven out of it a lot, and after that, of course, your car continues to depreciate in value while you're paying off this inflated price for it over a long period of time that has interest on it as well. So, and it's all because of pride, you know. It's all so that you look good in front of other people. It's also you can appear to be keeping up with the Joneses. And I think in particular these days young people are too caught up with how they look to other people. I don't think you should care. If you're a young person watching this, don't care about looking like you've got everything together, like you've got the most expensive vehicle and you've got the most up-to-date phone and you've got all the subscriptions, and all that stuff is so unnecessary, and it's so vapid and pretentious as well. What you come to realize as you get older is that none of it matters, and that the kind of people who are drawn to you because of those superficial things, they end up just leaving anyway, because the kind of connection that they have with you is a superficial connection, not a deep, real personal connection. The kind of friendships that you can make that actually matter in life are the kind of friendships where people don't really care what you have, but they care about who you are as a person. And modern society these days tells us that in order to be someone of value, you have to have all these things, and you have to have the modern car, you have to have the home loan with the mortgage, you have to have the white picket fence, you have to have the latest phone, you have to have the latest flat screen TV, the latest entertainment system. All this stuff doesn't matter, and in fact back in the old days it was much easier to acquire these things and simply purchase them outright, and then you own them. And yeah, it might have taken a bit longer, but we were patient back then, and I think that's a good culture to have, a culture of patience where you gradually save up for something in your bank account and then you purchase it when you've got the amount there. You can't allow yourself to be swayed by these sales pitches that they do, you know, when they say to you, you got 24 hours to purchase this and then that deal's gone forever, buy now, think later, sort of where they want your money right now. They want you to make, you see, the system wants you to make rash decisions. It wants you to stop thinking for a minute so it can manipulate you. And the way it does that is by instilling a fear of missing out on whatever it is that you're looking at. You know, it might be a nice idea to have, it might be a good idea to have a nice car, for example, but you may not be able to afford it where you're currently standing financially. So a mature thing to do is to, rather than buy the car that you can't afford, it's to save up for the car and actually be responsible and mature about, and patient about getting the things that you want in life. And if you do that, you'll find that you always have money there just in case something goes wrong, and you'll be less stressed. And also, it's a much nicer way to live, to not worry about what people think about you. So I think that's the reasoning that we're getting here from Bo when he's talking about, you know, the society that we live in being so materialistic and superficial. But also it's predatory because it preys on people who are wanting to look good for other people. It preys on the insecure. A lot of people are walking around very insecure these days, and I think this kind of a buy now pay later scheme is targeted heavily towards people who feel the need to look good in front of others and in their neighborhoods and to their friends and their family, so that they can appear to be successful, because to them that's more important than them actually being secure financially and progressing naturally with their savings and with the things that they acquire legitimately. And I think if you can be patient enough to save for what you want and acquire it legitimately after saving the money for that thing, then you get a real sense of achievement, knowing, I saved up for this and I've paid for it now and I don't owe anyone anything. Anyway, let's continue.
It's actually a license, revocable, theirs. They kept the word buy on the button because the word buy is doing all the work. Nobody presses a button that says borrow indefinitely for money.
Right.
And this isn't me theorizing. They've already shown their hand on this. Years back, Amazon found out some copies of a book on people's Kindles had the rights problem. So they reached into their devices overnight and they deleted it. Off the devices that people owned. Books that people paid for. Gone by morning like they were never there. And the book, and I promise you this is real, the book was 1984. Of all the fucking books on planet Earth, the book about the government that erases things, erased.
Okay, if you're not seeing it for what it is now, then I don't know how to help you. I mean, the fact that they've reached in and deleted 1984 off people's Kindle, no less. Of all the books they could have deleted, your cooking books or whatever it is that you've got on there, they deleted 1984, the one book that's about a government cancelling people and suppressing its population. It's like the one book that we all need to be able to read and remember these days, because this is the sort of thing that's going on in today's modern society.
And they refunded everybody after, like the money was ever the point of that entire thing. The point was you finding out whose Kindle it actually is. And it's in your pocket too, by the way. Toyota is a great example of this. They tied remote start to a subscription on a bunch of their models.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
And I don't mean like a phone app. I mean the actual button, the physical key fob. The fob in your hand. So you press the button, and the fob checks with the mothership, wherever that is, whether your account is current or not. And then the button does nothing. So it's a button on a key that you own. And it needs a monthly payment for the button to function. Somewhere, an engineer built that exact thing on purpose and then drove home and ate dinner like a normal person thinking, this is a great thing to design. The CEOs were all like, a great idea, guys. This is how we make more money.
That's so evil, man. I mean, I don't know how to even describe, that's so predatory and sick. That's just sick. The fact that there's companies out there that do that. I mean, I don't even know. But that's how the problem is people are very naive, and everyone sort of seems to be walking around with this it's like a toxic, I've heard one YouTuber call it toxic positivity. It's like, what was it, I think he was the melancholic, I'll have to cover some of that guy's videos too, that guy's very good, but the functioning melancholic, he's another guy to check out on YouTube if you're looking for another guy who talks some real sense. He talks about toxic positivity, and it's this manipulative way that companies and people talk in sort of a positive tone that lowers your defenses so that they can manipulate you into buying something or taking something or stealing something from you, and can lie to you about what your eyes are actually seeing, it's kind of hard to explain. He coins the term and explains it much better than I do, but the way I see it is you can't trust these companies when they are telling you, we have your best interest at heart, and just purchase this right now, buy one and get one free. We're not ripping you off at all, and for a limited time offer you need to pay this now and subscribe, and then we'll take care of you for the rest of your life. Just keep paying that money every month. This is predatory, and anyone who grew up who is my age can see it for what it is. It's predatory. They're trying to take every last penny that we have. And these people, there's no limit to their greed. I love that quote. What is it from Scarface? Never underestimate the other guy's greed. Like, there's no limit to greed. You know, you'd think that these people who have everything around here would quit being greedy because they've got so much, but no, their greed is boundless. It's ever growing, and you got to treat companies like that. You've got to be critical. You've got to be objective when you start hearing these like slogans and these pitches. If they're trying to get you to sign up to something or subscribe to something, just know that they're after your money and they don't have your best interest in heart, especially these days. Yeah.
Because a customer who buys something is a close ticket. Done. It's paid for.
Yeah.
It's over. And now the company has to go find a whole new human being and convince him from scratch. So a customer who subscribes is an open ticket for life. They never have to sell anything again. They just have to keep him from leaving. And keeping him is cheap. That's what auto renew is for. That's what the 11 cancellation screens are. Companies used to want customers. Now they want captives. And not in some dramatic movie way. In a spreadsheet, cold, ruthless way.
Yeah.
Money printing way. A captive is just a customer whose next 20 years of payments you can put on a chart and borrow against. And that chart is fat as hell. The average household is running somewhere around $270 a month in subscriptions today. That's a car payment, guys.
I got zero subscriptions. From what I know, I'm pretty sure I've got zero subscriptions. I mean, there's certain things that I pay for each month, but it's not like I don't have Netflix. My work pays for my phone. Yeah, I basically got like no subscriptions, and I always try to keep it that way. Now, I know a lot of people are like, how can you do that? And you know, I mean, don't you get bored? And it's like, no, I don't get bored. I mean, there's a lot of free stuff around. I mean, YouTube's free. I mean, if you want to find out what's on the news, just look up YouTube, you know. If you want to, I don't know, play some video games, I can play one of the video games I've already downloaded and paid for, and no one can stop me from getting rid of that. You know, I'm not paying again for the video game. I'm not paying again for the movies. I've got probably, and this will tell you sort of how much of a 90s kid I am. I've got about 300 DVDs out there that I haven't, you know, that I hold on to and I'll watch from time to time. And they're all the best sort of movies that, you know, that I think have really ever came out. I mean, I've got all the classic, you know, Hollywood, all the big time, you know, movies that, you know, all the real classics, man. I got all them out there on DVD because I don't want to have to pay YouTube or pay some other service like $5.99 for one viewing when I've already paid for it once, like ages ago, for like $3.99 or something like that, and now I've got the physical copy of the DVD. I've also got 2 DVD players. Now I'm going to sound a little bit old here saying this, but I've got so much variety of stuff that I can watch and listen to and, you know, play on my computer and do, you know, like I don't have a gym membership. I've got a home gym. I saved up money so that I could buy gym equipment and put it in my own house so that I don't have to pay what is it, like a couple of $100 a month. If you know, that's pretty cheap really, but I still didn't want to pay that, and that goes to show sort of the kind of guy I am. Like I went hardcore on this, and because of this I'm able to save money. But even then, you know, I still struggle to save money because, you know, the economy's so bad, especially when you got a family that you're looking after. I don't know how people can justify buying everything on subscriptions if they've got a family to look after. I mean, you really got to minimize the kind of things that you're spending your money on. You can't allow yourself to be tricked by these companies into subscriptions to this and that, where you're getting $20 out, $30 out, $50 out every month All that stuff adds up. Then you've got rent to pay, then you've got car payments, then you've got mortgages and rent, even if you're just renting. Yeah, these folks get, are pretty inept at managing their money, and I would say one of the main reasons is because they live outside their means. I think if you're willing to live within your means and be realistic about what you can afford and what you can't afford, then you'll be fine. But and you have to make those tough decisions, especially if you're the man in the house and you've got a family. You got to say, no, we're not getting that. We're not wasting our money on that because we're saving up for this or we're saving up for that, Anyway, enough said, let's continue.
A whole invisible car payment made out of apps. And the man of a house that can't get control within that $100 is just a number to them. Ask him his rent. He knows it by the dollar, for example, right? Ask him his car note. He'll tell you to the dollar exactly what he paid. Ask him what all the recurring stuff adds up to, and you're going to get a shrug. And the shrug is engineered by them. That's the entire point. 30 little charges on 30 different days across 2 cards. There is no bill. That's the actual innovation of this whole era.
And it gets extremely difficult to budget when you're doing that shrug, like, I don't know what I've got. Like, if you've got like 20 or 30 subscriptions, then you have to be like a master at budgeting, your monthly paycheck so that you can pay for all those things and also save money on the side. If you're not a aficionado of, I don't know, finances, then you shouldn't. Then you're completely out of place having all of those monthly payments, those like dozen monthly payments that you can't keep track of, and they're going to continuously put you into debt further and further. It's those sorts and like, I mean, I'm a simple guy, right? I'm not like necessarily that financially savvy, but I just know that stuff will derail me if I've got it, as a constant outgoing payment every month. That sort of stuff is going to muck up my budget and is going to make it really difficult for me to save money. I'm self-aware enough to know that it's not for me, so I stay clear of it, and rather I practice the art of delayed gratification. To me, practicing the art of delayed gratification is very important. It builds responsibility and it builds a respect for your money, where you're not going to just blow it on stupid shit because everyone else is doing it. You treat your money with some respect because it's money that you've earned that's taken you a lot of time to earn, and you got to look at it that way. You can't just see it as something that grows on trees, which is what a lot of other people sort of see it as. That is the counter world view that you have to have in modern society, and you have to reject all of this. If you wanted my personal advice, I would say reject all of this bullshit about buying now, pay later. Reject it. Just practice delayed gratification. Practice saving for the thing that you want. It doesn't matter if they try to tell you that it's not going to be available. Pretend that it will be available and forget about it. Because the thing is, the one thing that I have learned is that whenever they try to give you that, feed you that whole shtick about it's only going to be available for 2 weeks and then it's gone for good, it's a lie. It's a freaking lie. You don't have to fall for that bullshit. You can just practice some delayed gratification, save up the amount in your bank account, and then look into it again and see if it's for sale when that time comes. And if it's not for sale, I guarantee you something similar will also be for sale for around the same price, and you'll feel still better about it because you had the discipline and you practiced the self-restraint to save for the thing that you wanted, and you're not in debt because of it, unlike other people. So that's my advice.
He killed the bill. A bill was a piece of paper that showed a man a total, and totals made men act. So no more totals. And then it rewired how men think about money at the root of this. The question, can I afford this, used to have pause built into it.
Of course.
You wanted a thing, you looked at the price was real, and you either walked away or you started saving. That was simple. And the saving was the whole part of it. The saving was training. It was a man that would save for 3 months. It gave him a tool where he knows exactly what that tool cost him. So he takes care of it. He uses it.
Yeah, and Bo's right again. The other point that I really like him making is practicing the art of walking away. And if you've never walked away from an opportunity like that before, I encourage you to do it. Don't let the fear of missing out stop you from walking away from people trying to rip you off to buy something now and think later, which is what it should really be called. It shouldn't be called buy now, pay later. It should be called rent now, think later, because that's basically what it is. Don't let people gaslight you into thinking that you're not going to get the opportunity to purchase the thing again later in the future. You will get the opportunity. You might have to wait a bit, but even then you'll have all that money saved up from not purchasing it. So you'll be in a more secure place, you'll be at a peaceful place. Don't allow this hyper-materialistic society to sway you into that way of thinking. Instead, respond in a way where you're not the slave. And that's basically all there is to it. Just walk away. Because that deal, you'll be back another time. Most of the time, you don't miss out on things for good. They come back around. And that's the truth of it. These people want to sell stuff. So they're going to keep trying to sell your stuff. So they're not going to, if they don't get you today, they'll try again tomorrow. And the best part about it, walking away, is that you can wait until you're ready to purchase it, rather than be forced into purchasing it at a time when you're not ready, or when it's not financially viable to do so.
Everything is $12 now. Nothing has a real price anymore. So the question never fires. It's $12. Of course you can. Of course you can, dude. Wow, it's $12. And that is how a man ends up broke with no idea what he bought.
Yeah.
And the honest answer is nothing. He bought nothing. Every dollar went to access. And access evaporates the day the payments stop. So 10 years of paying leaves nothing behind. No shelf full of anything. Nothing to point at. 10 years of payments, and the man owns exactly what he owned at the start, minus the decade. When's the last time you saved up for something? Months. Can you even remember the thing? Right? There's a grown man who has not felt the feeling of finishing a purchase in 15 years. And that feeling did more for men than anybody gives it credit for.
Yeah.
That feeling was half of what made a man careful in life.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And that's what he's talking about. That's that responsibility and that self-discipline to be willing to wait for whatever it is that you want to get or need to get, and being willing to wait until you have the money to purchase it, and being in control of it rather than being indebted to some corporation. And in the case of what Bo's saying, almost permanently indebted to a corporation on a subscription basis, which is no way to live. That's slavery. It's literally, they're just taking money out of your paycheck every week. It's not rent to own, it's a rent to rent indefinitely. Why would you do that? It's not logical. That's wasted money. It's short-term gain for long-term loss. That's what it comes down to.
The gyms figured all of this out way before anybody. That was the prototype. You could think of it like that. You could sign them up in January, and then you make quitting a small humiliation with a form and a fee, and then profit off the months that nobody shows up. You think a gym wants all its members showing up? The whole business is your January optimism on a 12-month agreement. And that's half of the economy now. Half of this economy builds the guy that you planned on becoming.
It's important that you don't blow all your money on stupid shit and allow companies and corporations to manipulate you, to be coaxed into some subscription-based, ongoing, never-ending slave rituals. As a man, I would say it's important to dominate your life, and don't allow yourself to be dominated by anything. But also, consider the fact that if you had the discipline to work out at home, a home gym would be much more financially feasible than a gym membership over a longer period of time, because then you own all the equipment yourself. You're the only one using it, so the upkeep's very low, and you can work out at your own time, and it's easier to do so. So there aren't many advantages to doing that. But anyway, that's just one small example.
Money just leaving quietly every month for services that nobody in the house has opened up in like a year. Like a faucet dripping in a room that nobody goes into. It's not even consumption at that point. It's just running. The guy from the beginning, the card guy, that was the best week of his year, and he didn't even know it while it was happening. For 2 weeks, the man got to see with his own eyes exactly which parts of his life were actually his. The bed worked fine, the books on the shelf opened, same as they always did, and the old truck out front started every single morning like nothing was going on. Everything real kept working while the rented stuff sat in there in the dark. And for a minute, the whole thing was visible. Most men never get shown the difference. Might be worth finding out where that line runs through your own house before a dead card shows you. I mean, an old guy, and you could laugh at these guys too, that did it the other way, that buy the old used products that keep everything physical. You know a guy like that.
That's me.
He can wake up, the power goes off, the card gets stolen, something happens to his job, whatever, and he can walk into his garage, into his house, and every single physical thing there in his room, whatever, it doesn't stop functioning on him within 2 weeks. He owns everything. All the toys are his. There is no subscriptions. I know people like this that refuse to use anything that has a subscription. And I bet you do too. And these people are smart because they know the value of physically owning the thing. So they buy older because now you're not even allowed to repair some things. Sometimes they'll hit you with a copyright if you try to repair something, or an IP. And they'll send the lawyers to sue you. They quite literally try to lock down every single product to keep you a paying customer for life. This is how you suck money out of a person until there's nothing left.
Now, obviously, I mentioned I've got a DVD collection out there. I've got TVs. They're all old. I mean, they're not new. I don't own new TVs. Some of my friends gave me things. I held on to them. They work just fine. I've got 200 or 300 DVDs out there. I've got my car that's all paid for. I'm not paying it off. It's an old car. It's a 1993 vehicle, but it's well serviced, well maintained, and it keeps driving. And it's key based, and like there's nothing electronic that's going to break on it. That's going to stop me from starting it when I need it to start. There's like all the appliances that I buy, I always go for the older appliances. Like even my clothes, was my laundry machine. I've got an old one of those because I know those ones were designed to not break. The old furniture is a good example as well. Old furniture, old whiteware, old fridges, all that old stuff doesn't break. You can just keep repairing it, and that's if it even ever needs repair, because a lot of the parts are like lifetime. That they last for a long time. When they were designed back in the day, they were designed to work for life. And so many of these things that I own, like my fridge and a washing machine, dryer, and all that sort of stuff, they're not breaking down on me. I've got TVs that don't break down. I've got furniture, older furniture that I've purchased, certainly over the years. It's cost me nothing. And it's sturdily made. It's high quality. I just go over it with like a upholstery cleaner or something like that, and clean it up, and then it's fine. why do you need to have new stuff? Like, ask yourself why you feel the need to have new stuff all the time in your life, and just be real honest with the answer that you give, because I think you'll find it's probably a very superficial reason and it's unnecessary. And I'd encourage you to live within your means, especially in these very difficult times where there's kind of like an economic downturn in Western countries, and indeed across the whole world. There's raising fuel prices, and cost of living is going up, cost of food is going up. I mean, do you really want to have like the most expensive car when cost of food is going up, and even just paying for rent is going up? Is it sustainable for me to get a brand new washing machine that's got like Bluetooth and shit with a screen? Like, why do you need that? It makes no difference. Of course, they'll sell it to you and they'll say it's the best washing machine ever, it does the best job. No, it doesn't. No, they can't prove that, first of all. And even if they could, it wouldn't even matter, because what difference does it doesn't make if your shirt is cleaned 5% better by a brand new machine, but that brand new machine cost you like $14,000 or something ridiculous like that. These, and they're not cheap. That's the joke, is like all this white. I walk into these stores sometimes and I look at the prices and I sort of think to myself, that can't be right, that price is ridiculous, they can't be asking for that. But they are, and people still buy it on finances, and they still buy it with buy it in 4 easy payments or an afterpay or all this crap. And like, I see these people that are like just hooked on that shit, and they are like digging themselves into this horrendous debt. They're going to end up on Caleb Hammer's show if they're not careful. Yeah, books are another one, and I love books. And let's say you might be one of these people who has kids and wants to have their kids homeschooled. Well, investing in some old books, some old educational books, is a great way to go for teaching your children. It's also, you own the book. You don't have to like purchase it multiple times. You can just keep it for all your kids and have a little library in your house. And not just that, you could have books for other purposes, other non-fiction books, or you could have some story books or something like that. There's so many good things that you can get in their physical form that are in used quality but are actually just fine for what you're using them for. I mean, people want to buy brand new all the time, and it's just a pride thing. And I just realized that as I've gotten older, brand new really doesn't make any difference whatsoever, because you buy this brand new thing, in a couple of months time it's not even going to look brand new anymore. So you're paying for a brand new experience, and that brand new experience only lasts a few months. It's the same with cars. People spend all this money and get these enormous car loans on these brand new cars, and then the brand new car breaks down, and all the while they go on and on about how they couldn't buy an old car because an old car would break down. But they don't realize that it's not about having the latest and greatest stuff. It's actually just about having a sustainable lifestyle that's within your own means, and you're not doing it for vain reasons. But unfortunately there are a lot of vain people around, and so that's the reason why they make these sorts of errors in their judgment when they're purchasing things. I think that's a good place to leave it. But yeah, and that's the thing, is it's just a scam. These corporations are trying to scam money out of you. That's the way you've got to see it. And if you don't see it that way, then I don't know what to tell you, because there's no hope for you if you don't see it that way. They are actively trying to convince you to part with your money and give them a portion of your money every month for a service that you shouldn't even have to pay for multiple times. But if you were just a little bit more disciplined and you're willing to save that money and resist the urge to purchase it right away, then you could own all of this stuff. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Bo is great. Go and subscribe to his channel. Go and like the original video. I'll leave a link in the description below, and thank you for tuning in again. Take care, guys.